Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
And top of the morning to you. This is Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And joining me this morning is an international tax consultant, Mr. Kosala Tantula. Very good morning to you, Mr. Kosala, and welcome to Newsline.
Oh, good morning, Faraz. It's good to have met you, and also thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for taking your time. I want to ask you, why, in your view, why is Sri Lanka's public administration, why is it so bereft of professionalism? That's how it appears to me, remember the public. I look at it and I see a shocking lack of professionalism, especially when it comes to looking after the people's monies. What do you think is that? I mean, you're based in the US and so on. Well, how do you see it looking in?
Okay, for us now, in the first place, I can say, when we were young, we had a very good system.
Right.
Where people were very much more professional, like the civil service and the rest of the administration.
Yeah.
But over the years, you are perfectly right. Over the years, there's a severe lack of professionalism in this country. It's not only in the financial side, but in the legal side too. Now, I have had experiences here. That's why I'm talking about it. The reason is, the main reason you can attribute it to the war. 30-year war has demolished almost all the areas. Yeah. And then came a very oppressive administration. But the initial root cause, I think, is the Sinhala-only Act, which was introduced. That act has pluses and minuses, like everything.
Right. Yeah.
Now, Sinhala-only helped a lot of people, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we pushed back English, the subject of English. In Sinhalese, we still don't have that professional approach. That's what I feel, Now, especially people, even educated people, I'm talking about really good educated people who have legal backgrounds, have not devoted their time to developing professionalism. They have unfortunately got involved in politics and all that.
Yeah.
And that has made the professions. I'm talking about, when I say professions, I'm talking about a number of professions, not just the legal profession or the financial profession.
Yeah.
No, even a mason is a professional.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So they all should be educated. Now in the States, for example, professionals are really, really good. There may be one or two bad apples, but generally speaking, I have been in the practice for 40 years now. I can say that if you say this is the time we take and this is what we are charging, our rates might be high, but it will be exactly for that number of hours. If it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. In Sri Lanka, it's not that. I have had complaints from foreigners for us who have told me that they have got ripped off. And I have got ripped off myself by lawyers. They don't quote. They quote one fee and then go to another. So this is lack of professionalism, So,
but this, as a financial man, you can't but help notice, I'm sure, that the perennial problem that our country faces is a lack of money.
That is absolutely right,
But in this same lack of money country, we've got evidence. The press knows about it, has written about it, broadcast about it. There is a fair tranche of money held outside of this country,
Right.
and necessarily, therefore, outside the clutches of the Inland Revenue, outside the clutches of whoever.
Yes.
Now, you have that. Then on this side, you have all these, sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but we have them.
Yes.
And we have things like the Exchange Control Department and so on. We've had the Exchange Control Department for a long, long time. And all these, all the nice things are there.
Right.
It's like in a showcase. It's like you've got your nice porcelain out there
Right.
in a display cabinet.
Yeah, but not in practice.
But in practice, you're using something else and so on. You're probably using paper plates.
Yes.
That's the sort of thing I'm saying.
Yes.
No, government after government after government have to cope with this problem of a lack of money.
Right.
Then you see, on the other side of the fence, so-called, is this vast expenditure. Parliamentarians cost us, I think, 5 million rupees
That's
a day
right,
when
that's right,
Parliament
yeah.
sits. You have parliamentarians, 225 of them, who are entitled, and most of them do take it up, concessionary vehicle permits, so they don't pay duty. They're not the only ones, though. Okay?
Yes.
There are others, like doctors and so on, also who get this facility. But there appears to be a serious lack of revenue collection. We have all these nice things in place.
Yes.
But it's the collection that's the problem.
That is correct.
Well, why do you think that is? How does a government address that issue?
In the first place, for us, Sri Lanka should start encouraging its expatriate community to come.
Right.
You know, Sri Lanka has a very talented pool
Yeah.
of expatriates in many fields
Yeah.
who are professionally qualified and professionally experienced. Okay, we should encourage them. Now, India, China, they all encourage.
Yeah.
Now, India's vice president of Yahoo was in the States, and he was brought to India by giving incentives. So now, professional. Now you told me that you have been in England. Okay.
Yeah.
Now to bring you back here, we have to give you some incentives.
Well, I mean, in the Philippines,
Yes.
I'm told that their expatriate workers, their migrant workers,
That's
have a special status. So much so that when they come in, when they arrive in the country,
Yes.
they have a separate immigration channel.
That's correct.
To which they can go through. So like a fast-track channel.
Fast track.
This is all part of the recognition that
Right.
these people have, because they obviously bring in foreign exchange into the country.
That's correct.
I don't see any of our migrant workers being given anything other than hassle, because when they come in, it's pathetic. But there seems to be a lack of recognition.
That's
Now in India,
right,
for
yeah.
example,
Yeah.
when you're traveling there's a big board as you're entering, the check-in areas, that security checks are not required only for the following people, and they list all the jobs. I think it starts with the president, and it goes down and down and down, and it says if you're any one of these, if you fall in this category, no security check. Fine. Or a limited security check.
Yeah.
Now, here we don't have that.
That's correct.
So you get all sorts of people flying in and flying out
Right.
through these different things. But again, this is all indicative to me as a serious lacking in professional standards.
That's right.
How do you think that this can be addressed? What is holding us back?
You know, we have to understand something for us. because of this 30-year gap, our younger people are lost. They don't know what professionalism is. So we have to start educating people, and especially with people like you can contribute a lot to the community to understand by
the media does a lot. We do highlight and so on.
I agree with you. I agree. But now take a simple example of road driving licenses.
Yeah.
You have seen how chaotic it is, right?
Yes.
On the road. So they have to find a way to educate and have programs on driving or something like that, or issuing licenses.
Issuing license, I must say that I had a very good experience. I went there because it's a misplaced mine, and I was pleasantly surprised. To start with, it was air conditioned.
Right.
Okay, that was just making you comfortable. It was only making you comfortable. But it was very professional, actually. It was counter to counter to counter, and you gave your fingerprint, you did this, you did that, and you came on the other side, you got your driving license.
Right.
Very good. But that doesn't mean, having a driving license doesn't mean that the roads are safe to drive on.
That's right.
It's absolutely chaotic.
Yep. That's exactly what I meant. Now say people go to places, give money and get license.
Yeah.
One of my drivers got it like that.
Right.
I wanted him to go to school, driving school.
Yeah.
But the next time I came, after 3 months, he had the license.
Right.
So these are the things a good professional can show.
Yeah.
Like especially the media can focus on those things and highlight programs. Now in the States, there's something called adult education.
Yeah.
There are adult education programs for even driving, cooking or whatever. So we have to educate the adults, and also we have to educate the younger people from school. Start subjects like in government, civics and things like that, which are more practical and are suited to the present day. With the internet and with the younger generation, is much smarter than our generation, is it? They're pretty smart. So they should be encouraged, and also if you bring an expatriate with say 2 children, they would have had a better exposure than most of the others, and they will build up another network. You understand? Yes.
On that note, we'll take a short break and come back to you. Don't go away. After all, this is Newsline.
Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
And good morning to you again, and welcome back to Newsline. This morning we're joined by Mr. Kosala Tansula, an international financial and tax consultant. Mr. Kosala, tell me, now we have all these exposés and revelations all over the world, the offshore leaks, the Panama Papers,
right,
the Swiss leaks, and it's all wonderful investigative journalism, well done, all coming into play to expose offshore monies held all over the world. Not necessarily illegal. Just because you have an offshore account doesn't make it illegal. Unless, of course, in Sri Lanka you have not got the necessary permissions from the central bank and the exchange control and so on. If you haven't got that, then having it abroad is illegal. But then, where you're holding it, it's not illegal there. Is there a definite, legitimate reason to have offshore accounts?
There is legally, it's a possibility. But morally, I'm not exactly sure. The way it has happened from Sri Lanka especially is, I don't think it's correct. If the central bank or the administration doesn't permit funds to be moved, that becomes illegal. I can give you a classic example of an experience I had. I can't remember whether it's Dubai or Doha. once I stayed at a Marriott. The Marriott is owned by a Sri Lankan gentleman.
Yeah.
The general manager, an English lady, is a friend of mine.
Right.
You know, I was surprised when she told me this. She told me, they call me Cozy, okay?
Yeah.
Cozy, I can't believe that this man owned this place.
Mm-hmm.
She quoted, this is owned by some politicians in Sri Lanka. Okay? So this is something told to me by a person who's there. So it's obvious that the funds have gone out of the country.
This is front running though then. If it's owned by a politician, but if
No. Front man.
Yeah.
There's a front man. Okay?
Yeah.
So the thing is this, what I'm trying to tell you is, even for that, we need forensic accountants in this country who can find ways to
I'm so glad that you've mentioned this forensic accounting here, because we understand that members of the Parliamentary Watchdog Corp, the Committee on Public Enterprise, have now asked for a forensic audit of a company that's been involved in the infamous Treasury bond scandal. Not one, but two, and several smaller ones in between. But what will a forensic audit reveal of anything? What do forensic accountants do?
If it's a good forensic audit, they will start from scratch and go to the very end. And at the end of it, they will discover whatever loopholes there were, whatever illegal activity which would have taken place, and a number of other things, like a good auditor.
So this is a forensic audit is basically a very detailed audit.
Very much so, yeah. And also we can get the cooperation of overseas organizations. Now in fact I have been trying to bring to Sri Lanka, but no one is supporting for us. There's a organization called the International Council for Small Businesses, which is based in Washington DC and which has about 89 countries. We can give some focus, we can focus Sri Lanka, you see? Now we can get their help. Sri Lanka can get their help to get good auditors, forensic auditors, or get the help of the American government in a very productive way. Because in the States there are a lot of very good forensic lawyers and accountants. In fact, last November I brought a person here.
But Mr. Costa, we seem to have an issue with that, because the minute you try and bring some foreign thing, there'll be some other group of politicians who shout and say, well, when it comes to allegations of this and that during the end of the war, you don't want to bring foreign intervention, but in this case you're quite happy. But that's a very shallow argument.
No, we are not bringing them in on a permanent basis. We are bringing them
as consultants
to train people in this country. Because we have to accept for us that Sri Lanka even the judiciary is not up to the level it should be from an international standard.
And you're absolutely right. Now, I have some statistics to share with you. The Money Laundering Act came into play in Sri Lanka. It was signed and put into play in 2006. Today we are now in the 8th month of 2016. There are some investigations surrounding money laundering, but I'm a senior legal person who was on our program a couple of weeks ago, told us that in this 10 years that this act has been in place, let alone a conviction, we've not even had an indictment on money laundering.
That's right.
Does that indicate to you that perhaps we don't have the necessary expertise to understand what money laundering is and how to gain a conviction?
That's absolutely right, for us. As you yourself, you have been an accountant, speed and accuracy is a basic foundation stone of the profession, you see.
Yeah.
There's no speed and accuracy in this country. Like now say, as you very correctly...
But is that because, I mean, I'm told we've got, apart from England, I think we have the highest number of chartered accountants out of this country.
But majority of them are out of the country.
Right.
They are qualified people. Now I can name people if you want. No, I won't mention names. Okay.
So how does one? Are you able to tell us simply what is money laundering?
Okay.
Very simply.
Sure. Money laundering is getting some ill-gotten money to be...
So tainted money.
To be legalized.
Right.
That's laundering, okay?
Right. It's as simple as that.
It's simple as that. It's there are techniques like now in the States we have asset recovery program.
Right.
That type of thing can be used, but the thing is, in Sri Lanka, still we don't have a trained staff here. Mm-hmm. So this is exactly why I'm going back over and over again on the same issue. But the thing is,
back to this lack of professional
standards. Sri Lanka had, long years ago, Sri Lanka had a certain respect out of this country.
But the point is that I am sure that our civil service, for example, is full of people who are professional, who are qualified, who are professional, and whose integrity is beyond question.
That is correct.
However, politicians come along, they are the spoke in the wheel, so to speak. So they're the bane in a way.
That's right.
And so, as current investigations reveal, so many public officials have found that they are now being asked questions as to why did you do this and why did you do that. Mm-hmm. But actually, these souls did what they did at the behest, insistence, or even bullying of the politicians who were sort of overseeing those institutions. And in the ambience of a certain fierce psychosis, I don't think that none of these people were willing to comply, because their jobs were at risk, and if they went too far, their lives would have been at risk.
That's right, yes.
So how does one... Is it fair to prosecute, in your mind, to prosecute public officials who were acting because the orders came from above? The minister wants you to break a rule. Do you break a rule?
No. A good professional will not break a law, break a rule, okay? Right. A good professional, of course, I have to backtrack again. There may be a cause. A person fighting for a cause may have to break laws, sometimes, okay? Like civil movement in the States, for example, we can give as example. But overall, you can't break the law. Then there won't be any legal structure in a country.
So you must respect the law.
You must respect the law. Now, you must have seen Hillary Clinton was questioned, Now, even the president of America can take only $250.
Right.
$250. A gift of only $250 is the
limit of a gift.
Limit. That's right. Anything over and above is part of the Smithsonian, which means it belongs to your us, to the citizens, people. Okay, citizens of the country. So these are the things we have to learn, and it should come from the top.
What happens if the King of Saudi Arabia gives the President of the United States a watch that is, you have all sorts of watches. They're expensive watches.
Yes.
Let's say $100,000 plus watch. Well, what happens? He gives it as a gift. The President of the USA receives a gift. What happens to that?
It goes to the Smithsonian Institution,
Oh, really?
the museum, okay?
Is he allowed to use it in between?
He may get a chance to, but I doubt. I'll give you a classic, I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
If I remember correct, when George Bush was the president, one of the sheikhs wanted to give him a pair of boots, because he comes from Texas,
Yeah.
wanted to give him a pair of boots.
Right.
George Bush had told him, I love to wear boots,
Yeah.
but make it less than $250.
Right.
The gift
value.
was much more, okay?
Right.
So they had to sort of cope up with it.
Right.
Now, in a country like Sri Lanka, we don't have established traditions or checks and balances to control those things. But of course, now I believe during the last 15 months, there has been a turnaround.
Right.
Turn around.
This is going to be my last question to you as we come up to the end of this morning program. And that is, as an expatriate, and you've come back and you're seeing, what do you observe? Do you observe hope on the horizon?
There is hope if the country is handled. Now, I'll tell you, the present president,
Yeah.
I don't know him, okay?
Yeah.
The Prime Minister I have met.
Right.
This is the best combination at the moment in Sri Lanka. I think my personal opinion. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the best. They should be firmer. Mr. Sirisena initially was a little bit on the sentimental side of it.
Right.
He was trying to appoint this cricketer, Kumar Sangakkara.
Well, I think that was presidential flourish, and because he was so quite taken up by this national treasure. That's how we can call Kumar Sangakkara.
No, definitely. Yeah. I have no problem.
Yeah.
He's a top-notch cricketer. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is, I didn't mean that he doesn't deserve it.
No,
okay.
no.
What I meant was, he should not be sentimental. Okay. He has to take a. There have been a number of other instances. Like that Lionel Richie's issue,
Right,
which
yeah.
comes to my mind.
Yeah.
He shouldn't take stances like that. He should be.
Unfortunately, Mr. Costa, we've run out of time. Thank you very much for being on Newsline.
You're very welcome.
It's been a pleasure having you, and we look forward to welcome you again.
Sure.
Do join us every morning, Monday through to Friday, 7 till 7:30, only on TV1. Thank you. Have a great week ahead. Take care and God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukut Ali.